Good morning. I'm Peter Milios from the Finance News Network. Equity markets finished flat on Tuesday as traders digest a slew of earnings reports and their implications for the US economy. Overall, the S&P 500 edged up 0.09%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped 0.03%. The Nasdaq Composite inched down 0.04%. Major benchmarks fluctuated as investors assessed the latest batch of key earnings reports. Despite a tough economic environment, Bank of America surpassed first quarter expectations on the top and bottom lines as rates rose. Johnson & Johnson's stock fell 2.8% even after it beat estimates and raised its 2023 guidance. Elsewhere, Goldman Sachs shares slumped 1.7% after the banking giant reported lighter than expected revenue. So far, the US earnings season has proved resilient. All the major averages are up since the period kicked off. Even after last month's bank failures sent shockwaves across the financial sector, more than 86% of traders now anticipate a 25 basis point increase next month. It marks a stark contrast to the calls for a halt in hiking in March. In company news, Fox Corp and its cable networks has agreed to pay $787.5 million to Dominion Voting Systems to settle a defamation lawsuit over false claims that Dominion's machines swayed the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. And there's more M&A news in the biotech sector, with Bellus Health to be acquired by GlaxoSmithKline in a cash deal valued at approximately $2 billion, a 100% premium to Monday's close. GSK said acquisition forecast to be accretive to EPS from 2027. The move to replenish its pipeline in respiratory therapies comes as GSK investors fret about whether there is enough in the medicine cabinet to keep the momentum going into the next decade with expected loss of patent protection of one of its key compounds. And keep an eye on the US dollar as investors are betting on further weakness after its recent falls, as the fallout from the last month's banking crisis limits how far the Federal Reserve can raise interest rates and US investors hunt overseas for returns. After an 18-month bull run that took it to a 20-year high against a basket of currencies in September last year, the greenback has been in retreat as analysts have scaled back their expectations of US interest rate rises. Overall, overnight, all S&P 500 sectors closed mostly higher. Industrials and energy were the best performers, whilst communication services lagged behind. The SPY futures are pointing to a 0.1% gain. Thank you for listening.